the global, worldwide relationship with machine tool vendors and machine tool builders. Part of this job is to keep the contact with the headquarters of companies like DMG, like Mori Seiki, working with their headquarters on technical collaboration, develop post-processors, receiving dimensions of machines and new machines that they produce in order to create machine simulators. We also work together, helping each other on some marketing aspects. And this is where I come to the picture. Of course, on top of that, locally, there is a local collaboration between, for example, here, as we have today, the local work together with DMG Mori Seiki and MygrowTech, which of course at the ground, at the field, needs to be done. Today, my presentation is about money. How to be successful, how to make the most out of your investment. If you're going to buy a new machine, if you are here, you're thinking about increasing your productivity, you need to make sure you're going to make the right return on investment, fast return on investment. I'm sure you're all going to agree with me that everybody wants to be here, to have high prices, high margins, to sell sophisticated products that can get you there. There is the casual company. The casual company is normally a company which runs large series of products, big lots. Normally the margins are very slim. Sometimes you make a few cents per product. It could be large. You don't need to make too many setups. The same machine may be running for ages on the same job. It's pretty simple. In most cases, those kind of machines are not very sophisticated. It's a good for bread and butter, but everybody's target, sure you agree, is to be here, to be special. Now the question is, what makes a company to be special? Well, a special company could be one or maybe more of the following. It could be a company that can come up with products with high quality. And I'm sure you agree, this is not something that can come easily. It could be that there is a demand of short delivery time. You're working with an OEM that has tough demands, and they're coming and pushing you for fast delivery time. If you're not able to meet the delivery time, you can't work with them. We visited recently a company in Turkey. They are suppliers for automotive. They're actually supplying for the assembly lines of Mercedes-Benz, of Porsche, and some other companies. They supply molds and dies like doors or other parts directly to the assembly line. They need to be on time. If they are late by 2 hours, the fine is $20,000. It's $25,000 to be late by 2 hours. Now, if you want to meet this kind of requirements, you want to work with the top OEMs, where you can make also good money and good margins, you have to be there. You have to make sure that you're going to be on time. That makes you special. It could be a company that makes complex parts. And it's not so easy to come up and make complex parts. You need a lot of know-how, a lot of experience, you need professional employees. Normally, it's a company which works with small series, which is a challenge, because when you work with small series, you have to be fast. Fast on changes, fast on setting up the machine, the programming. It's different. I just mentioned fast on changes, fast response to changes. When you're working with OEMs, you always get changes. And the changes are the name of the game at the end. Because you work, you start to work, and then changes are coming. And then you need to react. And if you don't have a system and a procedure and a process to respond to these changes on time, you're out of the game. You lose to your competitors. So, that would make a company to be special. One of them, two of them, all of them. But this, what we call special, is not just hanging out in the air. It's actually based on some very important ground. One is the company knowledge, the company know-how that is gathered through years by the operators, by the programmers, the people who run the company, the people who actually work in the company. It's the knowledge in order to be special, in order to do all the things that I just mentioned. Complex parts, to work fast, to come up with the quality. You also need to have a very well-defined working process. Because if your working process is not well-defined and you can't follow it project after project, you're going to lose direction. It has to be there. And then it's the environment. You must have the right environment of machines, of programs, of tools. You need to have the right environment in order to maintain all that. Let's have a look on some examples for environments. High-speed milling provides the user with very fast drafting, good surface quality, good results. Actually, there are many of you who say that today high-speed milling is a must, which becomes quite true. Now, when we think about high-speed milling, what are the first things which comes into our minds? Well, first we think about the machine. And then we say we need the right tools. Sure. Let's have a little bit deeper look. This machine must have a rigid body that will support the feed rates of 10, 20, 30 meter per minute. This machine must have a very stable spindle, which runs at 20,000, 30,000, sometimes at 60,000 RPM. We must have a good controller. If the controller is too small, too slow, the machine hangs and waits for the controller. So it all needs to be there on the machine in order to work in this high-speed milling environment. Now we need the right tools. We need the right cutters that will support these feed rates. If we're going to work with cutters which have inserts, we also need to make sure that these inserts will also support these high feed rates. And the holder is also very important. It has to be 100% balanced, because if we get vibrations, we're going to end up with very terrible surface quality. We cannot afford to have this kind of vibrations when we're working with high-speed milling. And of course, we must have high-speed milling toolpath. That means a toolpath that doesn't have sharp corners, no sharp motions, because otherwise we're going to get vibrations. That means a toolpath that has the right what is it called? Chip load. And if we don't have the right toolpath, it's not going to be high-speed milling. Now, suppose that you have invested in a very nice machine which can do high-speed milling, $100,000. And it has a very nice spindle that rotates at 30,000 RPM. And then you go and buy tools, the cutting tools. And these cutting tools cannot support a high feed rate because you save maybe $100 on the tools. So you don't get the right feed rates. Probably everything will work in slower RPM. That means delays. That means you're not really working. You're not really getting high-speed milling. And this is only because you saved a little bit and you didn't buy the right cutter tools. So, no right cutting tools, you don't get high-speed milling. Unfortunately, high-speed milling, we can say that if you don't have all the environments in place, you're not going to get high-speed milling. Or, in other words, the maximum high-speed milling that you're going to get depends on the weakest link of this three. And if you don't have all of them in place, you're not going to get the results. In other words, you're not going to pay your investment. Because if you pay this amount of money because you wanted to get real high-speed milling, what a waste of money. Another example, MTM, multitask machine. You make an investment, you buy this fantastic state-of-the-art machine with 2 spindles, 2 turrets, really fantastic machine. But let's say that your software doesn't have the right synchronization manager. Now it means one of the three. Either you're going to work one tool at a time. So you're actually working like a regular mill turn or milling machine or lathe machine. You upload the milling, you do the milling, then you upload the lathe program, then you do the lathe. It's not the right way to work. It's a waste of money.